Welcome, this is Coach Dorf. We're in section 3.2 and we're doing a homework example. In this one, we have our function y defined in terms of x squared and f of x. And we're going to have to use the product rule and the quotient rule in these two parts. So let's begin. Here in part A, we have y equals x squared f of x. So here I'm going to have to do the product rule because I have x squared times f of x. Don't be concerned that we don't know what f of x is, right? What does the product rule say? Product rule says you take the first function. So we think of the first function as x squared times the derivative of the second function plus the second function, which is f of x, times the derivative of the first function. All right, so what do we get then? We have x squared. What's the derivative of f of x? Well, we don't know what it is, what the function f of x is, so all we can write is just f prime of x. That's it. Then we go plus f of x. What's the derivative now of x squared? Well, we know that, that's 2x. All right, so we have this. We could leave the answer like this. Often, it's common to put the x terms in front. So you could see an answer like this, x squared times f prime of x plus 2x times f of x. Either this answer, this last line, or the one before are correct. It doesn't matter whether the 2x comes first or second in that last term. All right, but the preference is probably to do it first. But they're both exactly the same and they are correct. All right, part B. This time now we have y equals f of x in the numerator and x squared in the denominator. So since we have something in the numerator and the denominator, we have to use the quotient rule. So the quotient rule says I take the denominator, which is x squared, times the derivative of the top, which is f of x, minus the top, which is f of x, times the derivative of the denominator, which is x squared, divided by the denominator squared. All right, so then on the top we have x squared. Again, we have the derivative of f of x. We don't know what f of x is. That's fine. We'll just write it as f prime of x minus f of x times, and the derivative now of x squared is 2x, all divided by the denominator, and I have x squared squared, which is going to be x to the fourth. Now, I noticed that everything on the top has an x term and the bottom has an x term. So let's factor out an x term in the top, and then we'll be able to cancel that out with one of the x's in the denominator. So in the top, if I take out an x, I'll have take an x away from the x squared. That gives me an x f prime of x minus, now if I take an x away from the second term, I have f of x times 2. I'm going to write the 2 first, right? And that's in a big parentheses there. And then in the denominator, I have x to the fourth. Now I can cancel out this x on the top with one of the x's in the bottom, so I'm left with an x cubed in the bottom. And so my final answer I would write as x f prime of x minus 2 f of x divided by x cubed. Some people may ask, do you have to cancel out that x? Yes, you should. If you can cancel out something, you should cancel it out and reduce it. Hope that helps.